So what can we expect for the Lich King expansion?
We got a lot of neat ideas and neat features for the next expansion. Obviously, the biggest one is going to be the introduction of our first hero class, the Death Knight. Death Knight is a class that combines some magical damage dealing as well as some tanking. We're also raising the level cap from level 70 to 80. We've got new PvP ideas with siege weapons and destructible buildings, as well as a new profession called Inscription, which is kind of like enchanting for your actual abilities.
Awesome. So what sort of new talents for the various character classes can we expect?
Yeah, with us increasing the level cap, obviously there'll be a huge array of new spells, new abilities for you to learn. We haven't finished designing those, and so we're not really ready to talk about them yet, but you can expect a similar number of abilities and style of abilities that we introduced with Burning Crusade from 60 to 70.
Since the actual Death Knight is a hero class and it starts off at a higher level, do you have a ballpark for what level that starts off at?
We're still debating it right now. We've talked about level 50, level 60, basically somewhere around there.
Okay, so what sort of spells and abilities can we expect with the new Death Knight class?
Yeah, when you start out with the Death Knight, you'll start out with a kind of a small array of abilities and spells, and you'll quickly gain them to give you some familiarity with how the actual Death Knight works, Death Knight mechanics work. Obviously, you'll have a wide variety of abilities that Tom and Jeff talked about in their presentation. We've got the rune-style system where you actually engrave runes and set yourself up to actually use either blood, frost, or magical runes, basically.
Awesome. Now, during the presentation, they put an emphasis on the Army of Dead ability. Can you explain that?
Yeah, right now that's kind of the first spell that we've kind of created for the Death Knight as kind of a test to see how that would potentially work. Blizzard is very iterative in terms of its ideas, so we'll come up with an idea, put it in the game, see if we can make it work, and then see how that works. Army of the Dead is an idea that you can summon these undead creatures to aid you. So you cast your Army of the Dead, and then 4 or 5, 6 guys will actually come out of the earth and attack your enemies.
Right. And they also noticed for an upcoming patch there will be voice chat in the game. How will that work?
Yeah, that's our next big patch, and it will basically eliminate the need for you to have any kind of external software to enable voice chat. So you'll just essentially just plug in your microphone or headset, turn on voice chat, and you'll be ready to go. It'll be completely integrated with the UI, so you'll have UI features that show you who's talking at any one time. You'll be able to click on who's talking if you're a healer and someone calls out, I need a heal. You can click on them and immediately give them a heal. You'll be able to mute people. You'll be able to boost their volume, all from within the game.
Now, can you, is this party specific or is this for everyone? Like if you go into the Barrens, will you hear everyone that has a headset?
Yeah, much as we'd like to hear stories about Chuck Norris and where Mankirk's wife is, we decided not to do that. We actually have it limited to raids, parties, and custom created chat channels right now. So there will be a limit. It won't just be go into Orgrimmar and hear everyone talking about whatever it is that they're talking about.
Well, that's some pretty good news. Now, why did they move Dalaran to the new continent?
Well, still working out all the fiction, all the lore behind that, but one of the ideas right now is that, Dalaran has been shielded ever since the end of Warcraft 3, and maybe it's time for the mages to take an more active participation in the world. Let's move Dalaran, let's move it to where it can do the most good, and that is on the front lines of the war with Arthas.
That's a pretty good reason, and I'm sure we're all looking forward to the fiction behind it.
Absolutely.
Now, what sort of instances and gears can we expect right off the bat?
So we actually have here at the show, we've got something that you can do right now, our very first dungeon. It's called Utgard Keep. It's a level 75-man instance for you to go through. It has 3 or 4 bosses, depending on whether you're running in regular mode or heroic mode. And it's just kind of the first dungeon that most players are going to interact with. Introduced a new race called the Vrykul, which are kind of a Nordic Viking style race, and their alliance to the Lich King and how they're actually trying to help him out.
Well, I saw them, but I didn't realize that they were in line with the Lich King, so that's pretty cool. PvP, how is that being improved for the new expansion?
Yeah, so we really liked a lot of the little mini games that existed on a per zone basis with Burning Crusade. But one of the things we realized is that it's kind of complicated because you have to learn a new game mechanic every time. So we're going to come up with a little bit larger set of rules, but are more consistent. So it won't be a different game per zone. We'll actually have a dedicated zone specifically for PvP, and it'll have siege warfare, so you'll be able to construct catapults as well as buildings, and it'll be able to use those catapults to destroy those buildings in order to achieve objectives.
Now, during the Siege PvPs, they mentioned at the presentation that there are actually vehicles that you can hop in and drive around and wreak havoc. Can you explain that?
Yeah, we're actually still working on exactly how that's going to work, but the idea right now is you'll actually be able to command a siege vehicle. Siege tank is something that we've seen from the older Warcraft games, and then obviously some kind of catapult that you could control to help destroy your enemies. So yeah.
Right. So have you guys decided on the new battleground, how many men that's going to be per side?
Yeah, we haven't decided those type of things. We know it's going to be a siege battleground, so you'll have this PvP zone that's just kind of a free-for-all, and then you'll also have battlegrounds and arenas that take advantage of the new siege technology.
Okay, and with the Death Knight, he's starting to use the Rune Weapon. Can you explain that?
Yeah, so the idea behind the Rune Weapon is that you'll have a certain number of runes that you can inscribe on your weapon that conform to one of 3 schools of magic. And so you can decide to have all of your runes toward one particular school. You can go with a balanced approach, or you can go just basically whatever the current next fight dictates. So you can have certain reagents that will allow you to reconfigure your weapon. You won't have to go back to a trainer. You can actually do that. Okay, we need to go fight this guy. I need to set up my runes such that they follow this configuration in order to be most successful.
Awesome. And they also mentioned during the presentation that the flexibility with the new hero class is sort of being prepped for more hero classes. Can you elaborate on that at all?
Sure, yeah. So the Death Knight is the first new hero class that we're going to introduce. There are going to be other hero classes that we're going to introduce in future expansions, but right now the idea is, one hero class at a time, and that's Death Knight for right now.
Awesome. Do you have a launch window just yet?
Not, well, when it's ready.
Awesome. Thank you very much.